still myself. I've been through it all and I'm still myself.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jacqueline Geiger, and if you're here, I want to welcome you. If you are new, make sure to hit the subscribe button and the little bell so you can get notified of all the videos that will be published this year. Yes. I want to be more intentional in posting, interacting more with you. First of all, Happy New Year. I've been contemplating and recording this video for quite a while, but honestly, this new year had a lot of emotions bubble up for me, and not all of them were full of, bells and whistles. If I can be completely honest, there's a lot of nostalgia, there was a lot of reflection, pondering, and if you know me, that is my nature. I'm a deep thinker, and sometimes that gets me in trouble. Sometimes that does get me in trouble. So as I continue to tell you a little more about what's been in my mind as we start this 2021 new year, I hope that you're also inspired to reflect on your year that we just had, and also just be more intentional in what you're planning to do in 2021. And that can just vary so much from person to person. So I'm not here to tell you to, do X, Y, and Z. I'm here to tell you to take a moment, reflect, tap into whatever you need to tap into. That way you're able to just go into the new year with a brand new perspective. I don't want to be the next person that tells you, because you lived it. 2020 was just 2020. There's just a few things that I really took out of 2020 personally. I'm an empath too. So if you're a fellow empath, you know that sometimes you carry some things that are not yours to carry. Trying to think about, why was I in such a pondering state of mind during this whole New Year's celebration? I realized that maybe I'm carrying some things that I'm not meant to carry. I'm letting those things go, and I'm focusing on my responsibility. I'm focusing on what is it that I am meant to carry. Maybe you have your favorite place to reflect. I know a friend that she reflects when she is scrubbing the bathroom. Mine is washing dishes. And just the other day I was reflecting, I was washing dishes. It's kind of like my me time now that I've become a mom. So I was thinking about it, and just thinking about how far I've come from, the beginning stages of motherhood for me personally were really tough. And sometimes that in itself can carry guilt and shame. At least for me, it did. I consider myself a resilient person. I consider myself a go-getter and a hard worker. That is just some things that I am comfortable describing myself as. But motherhood threw a wrench in me personally, and it made me realize that this is something completely brand new, and I actually needed help. So, that was in 2019. That was my journey there. But I feel like in 2020, especially with all the wrenches that 2020 threw at us, that allowed me to reflect on maybe some unhealed portions of, my inner being as far as it relates to mother. I'll be real with you guys. I was carrying, and sometimes shame does bubble up a little bit. Like, oh, X, Y, and Z, looks like she is really strolling through new motherhood, and I wasn't able to do that. But it made me realize that everything that I'm learning in this stage of motherhood, now raising a toddler, he's about to be 2 years old this year, everything that I've gained with that is preparing me to what's ahead for me, not just as a mom, but just as a person. So I got those feelings of shame and feelings of guilt for whatever reason, hashtag mom guilt. And I wrapped those things, I put a little bow, and I threw them across the ocean. We don't have an ocean here in Arizona, but you get the analogy. So I did that. I decided to do that. And that started with me acknowledgement. So one thing that I really have included in my life is acknowledgement. That to me has been so empowering. Acknowledging that there's something bubbling up within me, acknowledging that maybe there are some negative feelings or things that don't belong to me that I'm carrying, so I need to let them go. You know, the Bible does say, cast all your burdens onto him. He cares for you. So that is something that I've been intentional with. And sometimes I do, as a human being, I can acknowledge something is happening, but it takes me a little bit to pick up myself and actually do the things that I need to do. So that's one thing, acknowledging whatever is creeping up. And chances are, if something is creeping up or something is bubbling up within me, then my loved ones are being impacted or affected by that. Whether it's in my actions, in my behavior, in the way I'm treating them, and things alike. So acknowledgement of things. Another thing that 2020 has gifted me, and I did not expect this, was the ability to actually be with my son 24/7. I'm a working mother. I love my career. I work with students in the high schools, primarily first generation college students, and I help them in their pursuit, in their preparation of going into college right after high school. Going back to, I'm a working full-time mom. I love what I do. I love my career. And when we were hit with the quarantine, our job was full remote, remotely working, and that allowed me to so many memories. That allowed me to be with my son 24/7, but also learn to navigate being a working mom and also being a caregiver all at the same time. My son was only a year and a half when this whole thing happened, but some of you may have multiple children, and some of you maybe had to be not just an employee, but also a teacher and a mom and a cafeteria staff, which is great. Shout out to all the amazing essential workers that really make it happen in our schools, particularly our public schools. Going back to that, I really learned how to balance, and I learned how to let it go. I'll try to find a clip of the moment where I just broke. I broke. We were having weekly Friday, department-wide trainings, and in one of the Fridays, my team was tasked and privileged with presenting about everything that we do in our role. And I was really nervous. Of course, we're getting used to Zoom and things like that. And I had my son, and he was doing fine. At the time, my husband was still working out of the house, like he wasn't working remotely. So I had this presentation, and mind you, my presentation was fine. Like, I'm fine giving presentations to large audiences. I personally get really embarrassed if all eyes are on me for something that I didn't plan. So of course, the few presenters went before me, and it was great. It was fine. My son was loving his snacks. He was loving the little cartoons that I put for him. And as soon as I started sharing my screen and going, kid you not, a few slides in, he started screaming. Opened up their doors. Just a second. Really awesome because it not only, I am so sorry, my husband's at work. We're gonna make this work. And then the freshman house, I was able to do a program there for the 8th grade visit. Survival mode, right? My anxiety was up the roof. I was so embarrassed, but I was trying to tend to him. He was, fine. He just wanted mommy's attention. Everyone, I didn't really get a chance to actually read the chats in real time, but everyone was so supportive. Like, it's okay. Like, you got this. Like, this is the times we're living in. Don't worry. But I finished. You bet I finished my 10-minute presentation, and I gave my stats and I gave my numbers and I gave my results. And it ended up being where I believe I, thought really, I was thinking quick on my feet, and I think I muted my camera, but I had my baby, like, I wish I had behind the scenes of that, but you can imagine. It's hilarious. It's like a staple of 2020. If I could put any clip together about 2020, for me, that's what it would be. Right after, as soon as, like, all right, and thank you, that was my presentation. I muted myself, I muted my camera. I think my camera was already muted. And I started bawling with my son. So we were both just, in tears. So that was definitely something that I had to learn to just let it go. I had to structure my day with enough flexibility to do both my work responsibilities and also taking care of my son. So I'm lucky to say that, our job was really supportive and understanding the work-life balance. 3 was just letting go of trying to please others. And that sounds like somebody was imposing those things on me, but it's actually just internal work, and it's something that it was self-imposed. So I continuing to be, it's a journey, it's definitely a journey, continuing to be intentional with letting go of that, not focusing on pleasing others, because boy, let me tell you, if you are a people pleaser like I'm gonna do that, like I was, you will be disappointed. Spoiler alert, you will be disappointed. So people pleasing, even if it's loved ones, sometimes just focusing too much on pleasing people just gets you into this place that you don't want to be in. At least I didn't like the place that I was in when I was just stuck on checking boxes. Okay, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, and I'm doing this too. And don't even get me started about where that stems from. It definitely does stem from childhood. I am no psychologist, so I'm not even gonna go there. There is amazing resources that have helped me in peeling off or peeling away certain things that I'd been carrying for a while. I'm a believer in Christ, and I know that I was called for such a time as this, just as you have been born for such a time as this, right here, right now, in the middle of this crazy world. And we have a purpose. And there's this devotional that I've been reading. It's called 100 Days of Brave. I'll link it down below if you want to check it out. It's a new year, a great opportunity for you to something that can really just be a positive thing in your life as it has been in mine. So there's one specific day that resonates with me that I've read in the last couple weeks, and it's about your purpose. Our purpose. We all have a purpose. We all have a calling, but the way we translate that into doing something about it could be many different things, many different ways. It's not just one cookie cutter. This is X, Y, and Z calling, and this is, if you get out of this, you're out of your calling. No, there's like a theme, to your life, a calling, and that can be manifested or translated into something just so different. It could be at your job, it could be at your church, it could be in your relationships, just your life as a whole. So if you are pondering on that, ask God to show you. He is so faithful to show us if we ask, and that is where I'm at right now. Lord, just let me know and show me how I can continue to live out my purpose, not just in one place, not just in one dimension, but in my entire whole life. Letting go of checking boxes. Of course, be responsible with what you have been given. There's not a mold. I've always felt I don't fit in a mold. In my whole life, I've been trying to fit in a mold, and I don't fit in a mold. Maybe you can relate. And I was tired of that. And I am tired of that. So that goes with like, the three things that I wanted to share that I gained about or that I gained in 2020, but also it's a continuation. That's the way I see it. We celebrate new beginnings, a chapter closed. I don't see it like that this year. I see it as a continuation of whatever was birthed in our life. Whatever was birthed in our life, whatever seeds we planted in 2020, it's a continuation. It is not a beginning, it's a continuation of whatever it is that was planted, that we were intentional in watering in 2020. That's what's happening in 2021. We are going to see the continuation. That is my word for this year. Continuation. It's not, oh, happy new year, a brand new year, brand new beginnings. Of course, that, things are always sprouting. We are always planting. I hope you are. Just some thoughts that I've been pondering on and sharing with you what's been happening in this brain of mine and this heart of mine. So with that, that's it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching and hearing me out. Again, if you have a word for your 2021, you drop it in the comments. I would love to hear it. But make sure, if you haven't subscribed yet, to hit the subscribe button. And I wish you all a time of healing and gratitude and just para adelante 2021.
Hey, and I'm still myself. I've been through it all and I'm still myself.